Hello, I'm excited to say I have finally finished with my treatment. Chemotherapy is done, radiation is done, and now it's a waiting game. So I finished my radiation in this summer, and I did 8 treatments of chemotherapy. So my treatment was every 2 weeks, and I had to have it for 48 hours. So I would go in on a Tuesday to the hospital, and they would take my labs, talk to my doctor. They'd connect me to my chemotherapy treatment. I would have to sit in the hospital for 2 hours. And then they would give me a pump to put in a fanny pack that I would wear for 46 more hours nonstop. So even if I had to shower or sleep or take a nap, I had that pump on. And yeah, so my wife and I decided we're making all these changes with our health. Why not make changes with our house? So we actually have also, during the treatment, all summer long, we have been remodeling our house. I'm talking, we took out all the flooring, put all new floors in, painted every inch of the house, even did the landscaping outside, new furniture, new appliances, and that was a bad idea. That was a terrible idea because that was stressful and it was a lot more work than I was anticipating. But the bright side of things I kept telling my wife and myself was it's still going to be way cheaper than buying a new house because that was our original plan. And we decided to just remodel our current home. And you know what? I'm happy with it because the same time I finished my treatment, the remodel was also finished at the same time. So now I can relax a little bit more and relax in my new but old house, if that makes sense. Anyway, the treatment went well, not as well as radiation. Radiation was, I kind of flew through it. And I don't mean that in a bad way for anyone that's struggling because there's different types of radiation and different types of chemotherapy. So not everyone's is the same. My radiation, I did really well until I think the last couple treatments, or I'm sorry, the last couple weeks, just because my, I guess, insides were being microwaved and they were getting a little bit more sensitive towards the end. And with the chemotherapy, I didn't really have much of the side effects the doctors were thinking I would have. In fact, I only had 2 side effects during the chemotherapy. One was I would get tired. I was very tired the week I was doing my chemotherapy. And again, I did chemotherapy every 2 weeks. So the week I was doing it, I would get plugged in, like I said, on a Tuesday, and Wednesday through Saturday, I'd be a little tired, and I'd have to take a nap in the middle of the day. And I'm usually not one to take naps. I usually have really high energy, but I was definitely exhausted. And then also remodeling the house and moving furniture around as they were tearing up the floors was very exhausting. And I would fall asleep on a mattress in the middle of the floor sometimes. So I was very tired during the chemotherapy on the week I was doing the chemotherapy. And I was hungry a lot. I was always hungry. I couldn't get full. I would, for example, I would go to a buffet and I would eat and I'd be driving home and I'm almost home and I'm already getting hungry again. It was nonstop. And it was funny because all I would do is just take a couple bites of food and I would feel better. I know I was talking about I was doing more plant-based diet along with having some wild caught salmon and and maybe eggs. I had to change that up. Being plant-based, going through chemotherapy, I never felt satiated. I was always hungry, like I mentioned, but I was even more hungrier when I was just doing plant-based. I did notice what helped was protein, high protein. So I started doing chicken. Um, Basically, I just added chicken to my diet. So I was still doing a lot of plant-based, a lot of beans and vegetables, and I did limit my fruit. I didn't have too much fruit, even though I'm cutting sugars. I would have fruit a little bit every now and then, so that's where I get my sugar intake to curb my sweet tooth. And But then, yeah, I was having a lot of chicken and eggs and fish to kind of help satiate me, and so I'm not feeling always hungry. Because I would get really, those Snickers commercial. Are you hangry? You're hungry and angry. That's how I would. Well, I wouldn't say that. I wasn't angry. I was definitely tired. I'd be very tired, and I would feel like my energy was just depleted. But once I started having a little bit of protein, my energy would get recharged, and I'd be going again. But anyway, I am feeling really good actually. I've been really feeling really good. I've been off my chemo. I've been off my treatment for a few weeks now, and I'm probably feeling now about 100%. I was probably a week after I was feeling maybe 60, 70%. 2 weeks later, I was about 80, 90%. Um, I'd say now I feel 100%, like back to normal. The chemotherapy should be out of my system by now, and I went to the doctor to get rescanned, did my MRIs and CTs again. And what they're checking for, they're making sure the cancer is not spreading, and they're checking on the size of the tumor. So good news is that it hasn't spread. Other good news is my doctor said it is looking, what did she say? It was significant. This is what she said. It is significantly smaller. In fact, it looks like it's scarring. The tumor is scarring, is what she said. And I liked hearing that. I'm going to be talking with my surgeon soon. He's going to be looking at the scans as well, and we're going to talk, and he's going to examine me, and we'll see where we'll go from there. But I'll do an update very soon about that. And anyway, yeah, it was great news to hear that it was scarring, because what I would do is every day I imagine this in my head, and it really helped me. So I would say my daily affirmation every day, and then I would imagine. I would imagine that there were dozens of little me's in my body, okay, like a miniature version of myself, but dozens of them. And I would imagine them putting on armor and helmets and grabbing a shield and sword. And I just imagine them clanging it together as they walk through my body. And as they walk through my body, they're hacking away at viruses and bad bacteria and trimming fat. Like I imagine this as these warriors, I call them warriors, are they're marching through my body. And I even say that, I go, warriors, let's get our stuff on and let's march. And I'm imagining them physically just hacking away at bad things in my body. And then I imagine them getting to the tumor. And some of them are digging their swords in the base of it, and they're trying to pry the tumor out, detach it from the inside. And I can imagine other little miniature versions of myself are jumping on top of the tumor, and they're trying to smother it down. They're trying to just smother it to nothing. And I physically imagine this, and I do this with my hands, what I'm doing right now in the video, and I'm just like, we're just crushing and removing the tumor from the body. And I say, let's flush it out. And I drink water. I say, let's flush it out. We're flushing it out. We're going to be healed. I talk to my body that we're healing, that we're getting better. And during the radiation treatment, I'd also imagine as we would pry the tumor out of the body, that they were using their shields to protect my healthy cells, my insides, and they were targeting the radiation towards just where the tumor was and where the tumor is concentrated so that we can kill it. And so as my oncologist told me that it looks like it's scarring, I'm just imagining, yes, that's what we were doing. We were hacking at the tumor. All the little warriors inside of me were prying it out, and we were guiding the radiation to just target that and kill it. So anyway, I feel really great that she said that the tumor is significantly smaller and that it looks like it's scarring over. And, I will say as I go to the restroom, there is some pain. Again, I was telling the doctor that there is some pain as I have a bowel movement. And she said, maybe that's good. Maybe it's because it's scarring over, and it's just, that's what you feel. The pain is from the scar on your insides. So I said, that would be great if that's the case. And so anyway, the battle still continues. I'm still fighting this, and I'm beating it. And I totally believe it's a mindset that will help if anyone's going through this, or someone that's going through this. Mindset is important. The visualization is important. The positivity is important. And just knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel, it can be beaten. So many people have beaten cancer. Many people have beaten cancer. That means I can. That means if you know anyone or you're going through it, that means you can. And so other things I'm doing for my health, I take a lot of herbal supplements. I talk to not only my doctors, but I talk to naturalists who believe in natural healing and herbal supplements. I'm approaching this in two ways. Because some people feel like you have to take the medical route, the scientific route, and some believe you need to go the all-natural route. And I'm like, why can't you do both? That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm using both. There's science out there that says, hey, treatments like chemotherapy and radiation have shown signs to work. So I'm like, let's do that. And then there's also research that shows, hey, there's natural ways that you can beat it. You can beat it through foods and healing. And I'm like, why can't I do both? And that's exactly what I'm doing. I take herbal supplements. There's certain foods that I have incorporated into my diet. Some of those big ones are nuts, mixed nuts. And I try to get unsalted. But I do mixed nuts. There's great research that shows a couple handfuls a week has significantly lowered colon cancer. Other things I've incorporated into my diet are turmeric. I've been taking turmeric pills, or I've been drinking turmeric teas. Speaking of teas, Earl Grey tea, matcha tea, and green tea have also shown great signs of reducing cancers. So I've been drinking all of those different types of teas every day. Well, I try to. Definitely a few times a week. Tomatoes, lipocene in tomatoes have also shown things that will help. Broccoli, specifically the stalk of the broccoli, not just the florets. We always think about the florets, the tree part of the broccoli, but the stalk has a lot more nourishment and value in the stalk of broccoli. So I try to incorporate that. Mushrooms as well. Lots of great research behind mushrooms. So these are just things that I have incorporated. Juices as well, like pomegranate juice, certain fruits. Most berries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Those have also shown great antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. Grapefruit as well. And so these are just food. And then grains, quinoa, not so much rice, but definitely quinoa. And these are just things that I've incorporated into my diet to help me. And again, I've cut out sugars. I'm not saying I've never had sugar since my diagnosis. I have definitely had sugar, but it's like once every 2 weeks I'm having something of sugar. And it's very small. Like, for example, both my mom's birthday and my dad's birthday, I had a slice of cake. My mom's birthday is in June. My dad's birthday is in August. And those 2 days were the only days in the last few months I had sugar. And it was a sliver of a piece of cake. I'm talking like a sliver. I mean, 3 or 4 bites and it was, I was done with my slice. It was very small, and just a couple of frequent things, but instead of having sugar maybe 3 or 4 times a week, it's literally once every 3 months maybe that I'll have something of sugar. And it's something it's very small. I'm talking about refined sugar. I'm not talking about fructose, which comes from fruit. I still have fruit, but it is very minimal. It's only the ones that I just mentioned. Kiwis also is another one that I've been consuming. So anyway, that's just a quick update with me as I finish my treatment. I will do another video as soon as I talk to my oncologist and surgeon and see what they say and what my next steps will be after I talk to them. Thank you so much for checking in on me, watching, and just praying, showing love for me. I appreciate you. Bye.